Now at 9, a Pittsburgh woman says she videoed her neighbor abusing a dog. We'll hear from her. Plus, a lawsuit alleges a Labette County judge created a hostile work environment. And how the newly opened Jersey Mike's in Joplin is already giving back to the community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. A Pittsburgh resident says she got video of her neighbor brutally abusing a dog. The incident happened yesterday. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story, but we want to warn you, the following videos may be disturbing for some viewers.
Warning: the following video may be disturbing to some viewers. A man chokes a dog and hits the animal's face brutally. His neighbor watches from her window while recording the video. She cries as the dog whines.
When I walked to the window, I saw the guy brutally beating the dog, choking him, beating him, pulling him from his ears, dragging him everywhere. He suffered so many injuries because he was spitting blood.
The video was recorded on Tuesday morning. Fatima says she called the animal control, who didn't answer. Then she contacted the police. According to Fatima, authorities removed the dog from the property. She also said that weeks prior to the video recording, she had already had another incident involving the dog.
The dog was loose and he was a bit aggressive at me. He was in my yard. I was trying to get it to the car with my kids. So I called animal control. They came. The same officer came, Jason. And he said, okay, I'm going to keep him busy. You go in the car and go wherever you want to go. Go to work or whatever you want to do.
Now she's concerned about her kids, her dogs, and her own safety.
So I was walking to the car and he was like, hey, you need to watch. You watch out. Something's going to happen and your dogs might get hurt.
The Pittsburgh Police Department states that 19-year-old Chantes Wright was issued a court summons for cruelty to an animal.
And my daughter, I don't know how to wipe that from her memory. And she's asking me, is the dog going to be okay? And she literally told me, can we take the dog in? I want him. I want to save him.
In Pittsburgh, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
We tried contacting the man who appears on the video, but we couldn't get a hold of him. Pittsburgh police ask anyone with information related to this incident to contact them. Callers may remain anonymous. A former court employee is suing the state of Kansas. The plaintiff in this lawsuit is Terry Thurman, who was employed for more than 21 years as the clerk of the Labette County District Court in Parsons. According to lawsuit documents, Thurman claims she was subjected to a hostile work environment based on her sex or gender. The lawsuit specifically targets instances that allegedly occurred between employees of the 11th District, including Thurman and Judge Fred Johnson. The allegations highlight instances where Judge Johnson allegedly expressed aggressive behaviors, used aggressive language, and continued prolonged verbal harassment, creating hostile and uncomfortable work environments. On January 21st of 2020, a judge with the 11th Judicial District ordered that Judge Johnson only sit in Oswego. That order was later rescinded, allowed Johnson to sit at either Parsons or Oswego. Then the original order was reinstated in July of 2021. However, according to Thurman, this action had little effect on any issues and resulted in her submitting a letter of resignation effective in December of 2021. Thurman is now suing for damages and various costs. Judge Johnson's office declined our request for a comment. We also reached out to both Thurman's attorney and the Kansas Attorney General, but we have not received a response. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us with the first look of the weather.
All right, thank you very much, Jalen. It's been a beautiful day across the area. A little bit on the hot side, but of course that's typical for the first day of summer. But it's more spring-like out towards the west in eastern Colorado with many tornado warnings and lots of tornado touchdowns there. Even a big tornado went through Matador, Texas not long ago, and so they're going to be cleaning up there. Fortunately, the severe weather is going to be staying way out to the west. We're not really expecting anything in our local area. We just have a few clouds spinning around this upper level low that's kind of moving into the southeastern part of Kansas. We're going to see temperatures dropping through the 70s tonight, all the way down to 65 by tomorrow morning. And looking down the lane, we have some isolated showers possible, mainly out towards the west. The heat is going to continue, but we do have some weekend storm chances. And of course, I'll tell you all about the summertime weather that's headed our way as well. And I'll have all that in just a little bit.
Joplin's newest restaurant is already making an impact in the community. The popular sandwich chain Jersey Mike's Subs grand opening was today. And to kick off their launch, they are supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Jasper and Newton counties. It's a part of the restaurant's commitment to local communities. They're donating 100% of their sales to the nonprofit.
Jersey Mike's always for their grand opens gives all the money to charity. With Big Brothers and Big Sisters, we just perfect partnership with us. Mentoring is a big thing with Jersey Mike's, as well as some of us have been Big Brothers Big Sisters mentors in our earlier lives. So easy partnership with them.
Jersey Mike's is at 1702 South Range Line, across the street from Academy Sports and Outdoors. A picnic and some live music. That seems to be a good way to spend your day. The Neosho, Missouri Arts Council today hosted their Make Music Day event. It gave folks the chance to bring their own lunch and enjoy a free picnic concert. The Buffalo Creek incident this morning performed at the Neosho National Fish Hatchery.
We're inviting community members in to visit and to take part in this music together with them, whether it's toe tapping or clapping or however they're enjoying and taking part in this music and sharing in that joy of music today.
Ozark Sky performed later in the day at the Neosho Newton County Library. On Wednesdays, We Wear Pink. The classic movie and play Mean Girls is coming to Joplin. Joplin High School is putting on the production. The show tells Katie Heron's story as she transitions into a new school and meets new friends such as Regina George. In total, the kids spent only about 4 weeks rehearsing to put on a phenomenal show.
When you're in high school doing theater, you're playing adults or someone so much older, so far removed from things you experience, and so they were excited to be able to portray characters that are going through the same things they're going through and, living in the world they live in.
Tickets are $10 for adults and $8 for students and seniors. You can see it this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Some Southwest Missouri art lovers have a chance to view a piece of art that's not usually on public display. Heritage by Sherry Petty is on display at Southwest Missouri Bank Neosho. It's usually on display in Benton Elementary School, but due to renovations, it'll be at SMB for the next 3 months. The painting is a large acrylic artwork commissioned in 2006 by the Newton County Tourism Council, influenced by the regionalist painter Thomas Hart Benton, a Neosho native.
So we thought we had a 7x7 mural coming in, and then it was a 9x7 mural coming in. So we didn't actually have a big enough space to hang it here, but it's still here and we want people to come see it. It's a good place to come see it because not everybody's at the school.
The painting focuses on the history of Neosho and Newton County and includes references to Neosho's annual Dogwood Tour and the city's nickname as the Flower Box City. Coming up, the Biden administration misses a key deadline in the investigation into the origins of COVID. We'll see where the investigation stands now. The Biden administration missed a deadline to turn over information about the possible origins of the coronavirus pandemic. A White House official said its personnel are working on the declassification process. Republicans are not buying it. Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich reports.
The White House is pointing to the Director of National Intelligence for missing Sunday's deadline to release declassified information on COVID origins required by the bipartisan bill Biden signed into law in March. Officials tell Fox the DNI's office is currently undergoing a careful declassification process of this report with the goal of being transparent and open with the public about information related to the origin of COVID-19. But House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Turner says of DNI Director Avril Haines,
she's going to have some explaining to do.
The law ensures redactions will only be allowed to protect sources and methods and will reveal what's known about COVID origins and potential links to the Wuhan Institute of Technology.
I've seen most of the classified portions. I think people are going to be surprised because that report is very, very different to what the administration released publicly.
Members of Congress are eager to probe this material as part of their broader effort to assess whether the U.S. government implemented health mandates and recommendations properly. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky's famed comment in March of 2021.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
Just one example health officials later walked back. The CDC telling the New York Times days later, Dr. Walensky Walensky spoke broadly during this interview. It's possible that some people who are fully vaccinated could get COVID-19. The evidence isn't clear whether they can spread the virus to others. We are continuing to evaluate the evidence. Lawmakers now want to ensure future health guidelines are sound.
Time and time again, in the face of new evidence questioning the usefulness of specific COVID-19 measures, including lockdowns, social distancing, school closures, and masking requirements, governments refuse to adapt or provide an explanation as to why their directives were necessary.
Fox is told the work to declassify that intelligence is complicated, but it's happening. And moreover, it's possible that release could come as soon as this week. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
A new survey finds U.S. adults' confidence in science has dropped. A poll by the NROC at the University of Chicago shows 39% of Americans have great confidence in the scientific community. That's compared to 48% in 2018 and 2021. Confidence levels of Republicans fall even lower than that, dropping 22% since 2018, while Democrats' confidence in science only dropped 2% within the same time frame. The CDC releases concerning new data about the number of kids receiving mental health services in America. According to the report, in 2021, nearly 15% of America's children ages 5 to 17 received treatment for mental health conditions. About 8% of those kids took prescription medications for their conditions, while about 12% received counseling or therapy. Sam is back with a complete look at the forecast, and later, the Missouri Sports Commission hands out its annual awards. We'll see which local athletes took home prizes.
No prize.
Well, it was another hot one across the 4 states, and it's, of course, the first day of summer. Started this morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, but it's more like spring out in eastern Colorado. Take a look at this. This is some video of 2 twin tornadoes in eastern Colorado. Even tried to produce a third tornado in the background a little bit earlier in the video, but incredible scenes there in eastern Colorado with multiple tornadoes and touchdowns. And also we're looking at Matador, Texas, a large tornado, a violent tornado, touched down in that area not too long ago. Here you can see the picture of it, producing tremendous amounts of damage in Matador, Texas. So unfortunately, the folks are going to be cleaning up from that, and we're getting unconfirmed reports of a fatality with that storm. But fortunately, nothing like that in our area. Instead, we have mostly fair skies, as you can see on our tower cam there at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just west of Seneca, Missouri. Just a few alto cumulus clouds this evening, and that's the way it's going to stay as we go into the overnight hours. We did make it up to 88 today, which was a hair above normal, but we were a hair below normal on the low, so it all evened out, and that's pretty good news. Radar showing just a few sprinkles up towards the north and west. A lot of that's probably not even reaching the ground. We do have storm system out towards the west. You can see the big complex of storms in western Kansas. That is going to be sinking down towards the south and east, really not impacting our area. May see a stray shower or two out towards the west, but in the meantime, we're looking at comfortable temperatures, generally in the upper 70s to right around 83 degrees right now in Chanute, 78 in Iola, a little bit cooler off to the east in Monette, where they're currently sitting at 76. Severe weather, again, not a risk here. It's all going to be out towards the west from the Oklahoma Panhandle down into the western and central parts of Texas, and that's going to be the case again for tomorrow, staying out towards the west. In fact, our rain chances are going to be pretty low. Here's that slight chance of showers towards sunrise out towards the west, and then rain chances tomorrow are going to be pretty low, close to zero. Temperatures tonight are going to be in the mid-60s across the area, upper 60s in a lot of locations as well, with just a few clouds. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, isolated showers possible out towards the west, with highs in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. And then as we go into Friday morning, again, lows in the mid-60s, maybe a few more showers out towards the west, and then they'll start to die off as it moves towards the south and east, leaving most of us with partly cloudy skies on Friday with highs in the 90s in many locations. And then on Saturday morning, partly cloudy skies, breezy southwest winds, and temperatures in the 70s, and a better chance of thunderstorms on Saturday night into Sunday morning. And that's because we're going to be transitioning from this ridge of high pressure that's sitting over us, kind of moving back towards the west, and that's going to allow a piece of energy to come at us from the north and west in the overnight hours, and that's when we're going to see the increasing chances of showers. Rainfall amounts, though, are not going to be all that impressive with these storms over the next few days. higher amounts down towards the south and east. Over the next 7 days, it's going to be hot. Of course, it is summer now with temperatures near 90. And then as we move into Saturday and Sunday, a chance of showers and storms, especially late Saturday into early Sunday. And then again, maybe on Tuesday, and then maybe some more showers towards next weekend. But the big story is the heat continues.
For sure, and that's been the story for us over the past year. But outside of our local weather, our thoughts and prayers are definitely with our friends down in Texas.
It's a tragedy down there in Matador, Texas tonight.
For sure. All right, thank you, Sam. Coming up, creative ways to cut costs.
Shoppers looking for any kind of relief as inflation runs high. I'm Susan Lee with Fox Business, and coming up, we have 5 sneaky ways that consumers can save.
Prices are still out of pocket, but can Americans find sneaky ways to save? Fox Business Network Susan Lee has more.
Americans are turning to new ways to save as inflation remains a top concern. Consumer prices rising 4% year over year. And smart shopping expert Trey Bodge's sneaky ways to save starts with looking closely at your fixed expenses like your mobile service.
There are service providers that are significantly less expensive, like Mint Mobile. They start at $15 per month. Another really good one is cable. Ask your provider if you can scale back. And if there aren't any options, be prepared to switch. You have a lot of leverage if you switch providers.
Trey also says to cut back on little luxuries like daily visits to the barista, manis, pedis, and the car wash.
And I'm not saying this is a permanent change, but it's a good thing to do for a while if you're trying to save for that rainy day.
Deal websites like Coupon Cabin runs coupons for you at checkout. Money accrues in your account and you can cash out at any time after you earn $10.
As you save, your money grows in the platform and then you can take it out and have a little fun money with it.
Apps like Acorns connects to your debit and credit cards and automatically rounds up your purchases, investing the spare change.
You can also set up automatic withdrawals with these platforms or do double or triple roundups.
Finally, Trey says that people can save money with their credit cards. Use one that allows you to earn cash back, and also watch out for deals on retail, restaurants, and travel.
There's a really good general one called Bread Financial American Express Cashback Card. That's a 2% cash back on literally everything that you spend. And that 2% can really add up over time.
Susan Lee, Fox Business.
The Federal Trade Commission is suing Amazon, accusing the company of tricking its customers. The FTC filed a federal lawsuit alleging Amazon deceived millions of consumers into signing up for its Prime subscription service. Prosecutors say Amazon also used deceptive interface designs known as dark patterns to thwart users who were actually trying to cancel their memberships. No word from Amazon yet about the lawsuit. Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of sausage links, saying they might be contaminated with plastic fibers. The Wisconsin company is recalling some better with cheddar links after at least one person found thin strands of black plastic. The impacted products were made on January 26th. No illnesses have been reported. You can find more information about the recall, including batch numbers, on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Up next, we'll learn about all the best ways to celebrate today, National Selfie Day. When I was a kid, this wasn't a thing. But today, all you need to do is your smile. Happy National Selfie Day. Since the rise of social media, people have been taking selfies. But what exactly is a selfie? It's just you snapping a pic of yourself and maybe your friends, kids, or pets. Short arms, no problem. Grab a specifically designed selfie stick or tripod to get the best angle. So whether at the gym, the office, or at home, grab your phone and snap a selfie. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh hosts an open house to announce new expansion projects. Plus, Pitt State hosts a discussion among area nursing school representatives about plans to create a nursing workforce center in Kansas. The Atkinson Municipal Airport in Pittsburgh today announced plans for expansion projects. The airport hosted an open house. That's where they announced plans for an apron reconstruction and an expansion project. People who were there got to enjoy refreshments at the terminal building, meet local pilots and airport users, and gain insights into the upcoming improvements at the airport.
Initiate a project to reconstruct the parking apron at the Pittsburgh Municipal Airport. So project will reconstruct and expand the existing aircraft parking apron. It will allow us to safely and efficiently serve both jet traffic and single-engine general aviation traffic.
Construction on the projects is set to begin July 5th and finish in late fall. Pitt State today hosted a discussion about plans for a Center for Nursing Leadership in Kansas. Several Kansas nursing schools came to PSU for the discussion that continues a previous meeting in Topeka. Officials say a nursing leadership center would strengthen the nursing pipeline, making it easier and more efficient to develop nursing leaders in the state.
If you don't have enough nurses, you either close beds or reduce services or hire agency staff at a much higher cost. So we're here tonight in Pittsburgh to work on some of the systemic issues that contribute to a shortage of nurses.
According to PSU, Kansas is one of 10 states that does not have a state nursing workforce center. Alzheimer's is something that affects nearly everyone in some way. Today, people walked around downtown Pittsburgh and took photos of meaningful and memorable places and things related to Alzheimer's and dementia. It's part of a fundraiser for Alzheimer's research.
Walk to take photos that represent individuals' perspectives and thoughts about the experience of dementia or caregiving. And then those photos will be featured tonight at the opening reception for a photo exhibit that has similar photographs. It's out at the Bicknell Center.
After the walk, there was a reception at the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts where people could display their photos. Those photos will be on display through Monday. With this Saturday marking the one-year anniversary of the end of Roe v. Wade, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are using the moment to call for action. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has the latest since last year's ruling in Dobbs ending the constitutional right to an abortion ban.
With this weekend marking 1 year since the Supreme Court's decision to reverse Roe v. Wade, lawmakers are speaking out.
The fallout has been devastating.
Democrats call the past year a major step backwards for women's rights.
1 year ago, Americans lost a constitutional right for the first time in history, and Republicans ripped it away.
Whereas Republicans say Saturday's anniversary is call for celebration.
We're celebrating the option to be able to be turned back to the American people where it was before, to be able to make the decision about the value of every single child.
But both sides are marking the moment as a rallying cry saying more work needs to be done.
We can't let our foot off the gas here. We have to continue to push on this issue.
This week, Democrats are working to force votes to codify reproductive rights into law.
The United States Supreme Court took a constitutional right. The United States Congress has the power to put in place a protection of that individual privacy right.
While many Republicans are pushing for a nationwide ban on abortion.
However long it takes, we're going to continue to work until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law in every state in this country.
With the 2024 presidential race underway, the abortion topic is one both sides hope will help drive supporters to the polls. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
There is good news for weary commuters around Philadelphia. Road crews have been working around the clock to rebuild a critical section of the Interstate 95 that collapsed a week and a half ago. Pennsylvania's governor says that section of the major highway will partially reopen this weekend, much sooner than expected. A bit later, another push for Congress to regulate artificial intelligence.
Well, friends, summer officially arrived this morning just a little bit before 10 a.m., but it's been more like spring out towards our west. Let's take a look at some of the video of twin tornadoes in eastern Colorado earlier this evening. You can see the two vortices there, and this storm right here, or this tornado right here, was a multi-vortex tornado. Eventually, these two merged into a singular tornado, so it was quite impressive out there in Colorado. And unfortunately, another tornado, this one was near Matador, Texas, and as it rolled into town, it started throwing debris around, and unfortunately, it has possibly caused a fatality. You can see the tornado there. This used to be a Dollar General there in Matador, Texas, a population of about 600. You can see this used to be a SUV vehicle, So a violent tornado looks like it has hit Matador, Texas. But fortunately, nothing like that in our area, and that's fine with us. We have just mostly fair skies, including Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We just have a few mid-level clouds out there to the north and west. We did make it up to 88 today after starting out at 66, but it all averaged out, even though we were 1 degree above on the high, and of course we're way below on the rainfall. I wish I had more to give to you, but unfortunately, radar is all clear for the most part. A lot of this is just mid-level cloudiness and not even reaching the ground. We have to go all the way out to the west before we start to see the complex of storms out in western Kansas, and this is mainly moving to the south and east. Not really going to impact our area. May see a few scattered showers way out to the west by morning, but that's about it. Temperatures right now are pretty pleasant and mild, generally in the 70s, close to 80 degrees up to the north and west, like Chanute with 83, 80 in Yates Center, a little bit cooler up in Nevada where they're currently sitting at 75. Severe weather, not going to be a problem here. It's going to be all out to the west in the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles where it has been most of the afternoon and evening hours. Instead, we're going to be seeing low rain chances for the next day or so. You can see maybe a little bit of an uptick by tomorrow morning, but then tomorrow mostly fair with less chances of showers. Here's the forecast for tonight, mostly fair with lows in the 60s. Then as we go through tomorrow, basically a carbon copy of today with temperatures in the upper 80s, maybe a stray shower or two, especially out towards the west. And then as we go into Friday morning, we'll see lows once again in the mid 60s with scattered showers out towards the west, a better chance. And then as we go through Friday afternoon, those clouds will kind of move into our area, but we'll still make it into the lower 90s across the area. And then that moves away. And then by Saturday morning, we'll see southwesterly winds and temperatures in the lower 70s. We're under this ridge of high pressure, and that's what's been keeping us hot and dry. That's going to move off towards the west, and as it does, we'll see pieces of energy knocking the top of it off, and that will allow storms to start moving down into our area from the north and west, especially Saturday night into Sunday morning. In the meantime, rainfall amounts are going to be light, except maybe down to the south and east, where they may pick up a few heavier showers. Over the next 7 days, here's the forecast. 20% chance of showers tomorrow. That will mainly be to the west. And then Saturday night and Sunday morning, that's when the better chance of storms will be in our area. But nevertheless, temperatures are going to be hot. Highs in the 90s and lows in the 60s and 70s. So summertime, Jalen, is here for sure.
I mean, I remember shortly after we first started working together, it was wintertime, we're getting ready for Christmas, and now we're already back to summer. Whenever we talk about weather, it just shows me how fast time moves.
Time flies for sure.
All right, thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, Joplin Outlaws are back in action tonight. Plus, 7 local athletes bringing home awards from the Springfield Sports Commission. John Dales has those stories and more next.
Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. The Springfield Sports Commission and Missouri Sports Hall of Fame recently released its yearly awards, and plenty of athletes from the 4 states area were represented. Foremost among them is Pitt State basketball player and former El Dorado Springs standout, Macy Mays. She wins the Girls Athlete of the Year award after being the Class 3 Player of the Year in basketball, averaging 25 points and 7 rebounds per game, on top of being All-State in volleyball. Meanwhile, Luke Gall from Carthage High School wins the award for the top linebacker or defensive back in football, not to mention his contributions as a running back on top of that. And those weren't the only award winners. Webb City's Abigail Street takes home the Girls Cross Country Award. Chloe Miller from Carl Junction High School wins the Girls Swimming and Diving Award. Isabella Renfro from Seneca and Eli Czar from Neosho win the Girls and Boys Wrestling Awards. Then Monette's Jackson Bailey, Best in Boys Golf. That full list of winners is also available on our website, KOAMnews.now.com. And in local baseball, the Joplin Outlaws and Des Moines Peak Prospect probably tired of seeing each other's faces by now. Yesterday they played a doubleheader. Tonight, they meet for the 3rd time in the past 2 days. Outlaws get the best of the Prospects again. In yesterday's doubleheader, they win both games. Tight one all the way throughout tonight, but the Outlaws get a 3-2 win. That's now 3 victories in a row for Joplin, and on top of that, it brings the Outlaws back into a tie for 2nd place in the Mink League South. Right now, they're sitting behind Sedalia and Jeff City. And yesterday was an aberration, not just because the Outlaws won 2 games, but the Royals also won on the road for the first time in a month. That set things up for Kansas City to have a chance at a series victory this afternoon in Detroit. Royals at Tigers, top of the second, no score. Freddie Furman drives one into the gap and changes that quickly. Off the wall he goes, and 2 Royal runners will come around to score easily. He reminds you, it is 2 runs. Bottom of the second now, same inning, and we're tied because Eric Haas lines one into the gap off Brady Singer. A couple of runs are going to score for the Tigers. That tied the game up at 2. Then it's 4-2 Detroit, make it 5-2. After a solo home run, stretches the Tigers' lead. They go up 5-2, and then we go ahead to the 8th inning. Spencer Torkelson is at the plate. It's a shallow fly ball into right field, and if this doesn't sum up the entire Royals season, I don't know what does. The players in the outfield collide. That's Taylor and Beatty crashing into each other. Beatty would end up having to exit the game as the Tigers win it 9-4. Cardinals in action as well, playing at the Nationals, looking for a sweep. In the 3rd inning, no score, and Dom Smith hits one hard to the outfield. Lars Nootbaar slides and makes an incredible catch. So good you got to watch it twice. Nootbaar leaving his feet to take away a hit, and his pitcher fired up as well. To the 5th we go. C.J. Abrams finally does break that scoreless tie. He goes off Miles Mikolas into the bullpen and out. That solo home run is his 7th of the year, puts the Nats up 1-0. In the 6th inning, Heimer Candelario puts one into center. Tommy Edman just out of his reach. That one falls down. Luis Garcia comes around to score. Candelario eventually does get thrown out at 3rd. Nats would lead it 2-0 at that point. Into the 9th, though, Hunter Harvey on to close it out with one on, and he does. Gets Dylan Carlson to fly out, and that does it for the Cardinals' win streak. Nationals win it 3-0. So the win streak is done for the Cardinals, but interesting spot for them. Couple of days off, which you usually don't get in succession, but they're going to London this weekend to play the Cubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, that rivalry, Chicago and St. Louis, it's too bad it's not in the States, but expanding the game and getting it, outside the country is always good to see.
Pretty cool experience, I'm sure, for all the players.
All right, thank you, John. We're back with more news after this. The Senate Majority Leader told his colleagues to stop stalling on regulation governing the use of artificial intelligence. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has more from Capitol Hill.
What once lived only in our imaginations exists in our day-to-day lives.
Congress is inching closer to a bill regulating the use of artificial intelligence, but that's not fast enough for Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. On Wednesday, he called for lawmakers to move quickly on comprehensive legislation setting guardrails for AI technology, which he says should focus on encouraging safe innovation in the private sector.
If applied correctly, AI promises to transform life on Earth for the better. It will shape how we fight disease, how we tackle hunger, manage our lives, enrich our minds, and ensure peace.
Schumer outlined key components of his legislative approach, including new security guidelines to stop bad actors from using AI to spread misinformation or attack American infrastructure. Later this fall, industry leaders will convene a series of forums Schumer says will lay the foundation for AI policy on Capitol Hill, calling it an all-of-the-above approach.
I think Congress can help ensure that AI works for humanity's good. I think we can go a long way towards keeping people safe.
His remarks come just one day after President Biden met with tech experts in Silicon Valley to get their advice on how to best manage what he calls the enormous risk and rewards of AI.
In seizing this moment, we need to manage the risks to our society, to our economy, and our national security.
Last week, senators attended the first of 3 information sessions to learn more about AI technology. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
There's a surge of college students across the country who are tech majors, but there's still a digital divide in America depending on where you live. The National Student Clearinghouse Research Center reported that between 2017 and 2020, the number of students studying computer and information science has jumped by more than 30%. But not everywhere is able to ride the wave of digital opportunities. A nonprofit leader who brings tech to rural communities points out that these students often lack access to technology classes at school and reliable internet at home. Coming up, how a grandma in Cincinnati is stepping up as a lifeguard to keep the community pool open. Some children and families in Cincinnati will be getting more pool time this summer, thanks to a grandma who stepped up to help fill a lifeguard shortage. Ashley Smith reports.
At Montgomery Town in Sycamore Township, residents enjoy amenities like basketball and tennis courts, green space, and a swimming pool. But that pool has to be staffed with a lifeguard for it to be open. That's where 66-year-old Gail Rogers comes in. Rogers is on the board at Montgomery Town, and she learned there was a need to hire more lifeguards or the pool would have to close on certain days.
There's a need out there, and there's a population that could fill that need. I think it's great to be able to sit out here, enjoy the nice weather, not today maybe, but on other days, and it kind of keeps you in shape. You find out that you can do things that you weren't real sure you could do, like swim 300 yards.
Rogers says she was a lifeguard when she was a teenager and figured she could give it a shot again. She took all the classes and became certified last year. Now she fills in when the other lifeguards need time off.
I have a dog, so I walk the neighborhood. I know a lot of people with dogs, but I don't necessarily know a lot of young couples with kids. So I'm getting to know them. I'm getting to know all the kids. And I think maybe the kids will respond to me as a lifeguard more so because I am older, where they might take advantage of a teenager, especially another teenager. They all seem to be listening so far, so that's great.
Cincinnati Pool Management is responsible for pool maintenance and staffing. President Jeff Bloom says Rogers is a great fit.
It's a treat. It's a wonderful. We love her enthusiasm. We're happy she's here, and she brings a different perspective to the lifeguarding world.
In addition to getting a tan and some extra money, Rogers is learning skills that go beyond the pool, skills that people of all ages could use.
The other good thing is you learn CPR, you learn how to operate an AED, and for someone in their 60s, that's a really good thing to know.
The whole goal of a lifeguard is to spot something before it happens, so they're going to be proactive.
But so far, nothing major has happened while she's on duty.
I did have to blow my whistle a couple of times at kids that were diving when they should be diving, that type of thing, but they all respond great.
Well, that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of a vampire deer at a British zoo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.